Hi, this is Chris Wiley with Wiley Development Group and Tasty Equity. Today, we're talking about down payment options for building fast casual restaurants, or how you can build restaurants with little or no down payment at all.
This is Chris Wiley with Wiley Development Group. Thanks for joining us today. I am a store development company along with my brother Pete, who's on the camera. We decided to set out and try to become the largest franchisee of Rapid Fire Pizza and Hothead Burritos as a part of our race to 200 stores. Because at 200 units, the game begins to change. Very few restaurant franchisors that try ever get to 200. When you get to 200, you begin to attract the attention of people like Darden and Rourke and KKR and the big investment groups. We want to own a piece of as many restaurants as possible when we get there, and we believe we got a fighting chance of being there within 3 years. For those of you who said you had tapped retirement accounts, some things are not so obvious about this. The most obvious ways are to take a withdrawal or to take a loan from your own 401k or IRA account. Pete and I actually have investors with us today that helped us build our first 2 Rapid Fire and 2 Hothead stores that are, so let's call them friends and family, that their money was all in retirement accounts. And we have partners who facilitate those friends and family investing money from their retirement accounts where they were earning, 1% on their money or 3% on their money, and invest them with us. So whether it's your retirement account, which has more strings attached, or friends and family who may be willing to back you, there are ways you can do it that literally allow you to either take a loan from those accounts or move to the second topic here, which is self-directed investments. To do a self-directed investment, those need to come from third parties. So if they are friends and family that have a retirement account, they can direct their plan administrator to invest their retirement funds in your restaurant. That has restrictions. It works for people who are not involved in the business day to day. If you are involved in the business day to day and you are the operator, you need to look at using a loan from your retirement account or actually doing a disbursement. One of the counterintuitive things is that people are paranoid about making disbursements. When we launched into this, my kid sister actually put some cash up with us because they had a small nest egg and they wanted to make it go further. And they did a distribution, and that distribution had a 10% tax penalty. But the tax write-offs, the tax incentives were 10 times the penalty from that distribution. If you have not explored that, CPAs can help you with it. I'm not an accountant, but our CPAs have helped us do this, and it's very compelling why you would want to do that. We find that about a large percentage of the folks that I talk to who are interested in becoming a franchisee or an area developer for Rapid Fire Pizza or Hothead Burritos, or in working with us at Wiley Development Group, have international ties. They may be immigrants themselves. They may have been in country for a long time. They have friends and family. This is where the E2 visa investors are an opportunity to have friends and family that have high net worth move cash into the business. The U.S. government, Uncle Sam, wants that money to come into the country. And the programs for E2 investors allow them, people with a net worth of $1 million, to transfer money into the States and become an investor with you. That is suitable for a typical fast casual restaurant. EB5 investors, instead of just being a visitor, EB5 investors are folks who are really seeking to move into the country and become a permanent resident. Now, the key to an EB5 investor is they have to deploy $500,000 in cash, and they must work in that business. And if they're deploying $500,000, that is the entire project cost of a typical Rapid Fire Hothead regular format restaurant. We're going to talk about our formats, large and regular formats. A $500,000 investment from a partner is only really going to work in our large format tap room or cantina locations, where the project is more in the $800,000, $900,000 range, and they would become a partner with you. The challenge with these two methods is they can be time consuming. You're not going to do your first store with them. They're suitable once you have a store open to then diversify and bring friends and family into the process. We have a number of limited partners. We have built our business with limited partners, and these are typically family offices that are in the markets where we're working. They're aware of our brands. We have some niche private equity firms that have invested with us. They are looking to get into the space. They like the fast casual market segment. There was 20 minutes dedicated to an expose on Chipotle under the leadership of the Taco Bell executive that joined them. They've done an amazing turnaround. but most of the segment was about the strength of the fast casual sector, how the strength of the sector has allowed them to achieve amazing turnaround and to reinvigorate their growth. We are squarely in that space. You can't franchise Chipotle. You can franchise Hothead Burritos. But there are bigger firms that are focused on the QSR fast casual space. We'll talk about them more in a minute. But to attract that kind of investment, you need to be a multi-brand, multi-unit operator. Again, typically they're going after operators that are approaching 20 units, and they will get in and get involved with you. They, like us, are attracted to the tax incentives. The tax incentives allow you to produce income from these restaurants, protect that income with the tax incentives, specifically so you'll reinvest it and build more restaurants, which is good for all of us. Last but not least, the real zinger here, which I use as a teaser in the invitations, is you can skip the down payments completely. So I'll use a typical illustration, round numbers. For us to put up a rapid fire pizza location or a Hothead Burritos location that's equipped with self-pour alcohol, so not the large format, but a 3,000 foot restaurant, let's say, the total project cost is between $400,000 and $500,000. In doing that, typically we're going to have tenant improvements in that building of about $200,000, and we'll have maybe $200,000 worth of equipment. In a build-to-suit partnership, and we'll talk more about landlords in a minute, but in build-to-suit partnerships like we've established, the developer will build the building for you. They will build out your tenant improvements as part of the building. In doing so, you're simply a tenant. And their incentive to induce you to be the tenant is to provide those tenant improvements so you don't have to get a loan. We'll talk more about the consequences of this, but very specifically, you do not want to get involved in deals where they're building your improvements and then financing them back to you. A proper build-to-suit partnership is going to include them at market rents. You literally can do these projects without having to do the $200,000 tenant improvement loan, and the equity down payment, which we'll talk about in a minute in terms of size, could be a significant amount of money. This does exclude anything that can be removed from the building. So your equipment package, your ovens and your cash registers and your fixtures and fittings, all of those items get rolled up in a capital lease. The good news about capital leases is that they typically do not require equity down payments. They require first and last payments. They require great credit. They require some net worth. And they also generally are only going to be available if you're part of a brand that's got national recognition, which is why we're building out stores under Rapid Fire Pizza and Hot. Again, check us out on the Wiley Development Group Facebook and or Wiley Development Group YouTube channel. You can watch recordings of these events.